morning, Algebra 2 students. I know that may not hit everybody with this one, but those that asked questions, really the only question that I was asked was about going back over the graphing and the shifting of the graph. So I want to take a look at that. And for those that do watch it, there's a little bit of an insight that might help you with one of the bonus questions on this too. So just stick with me to the end. It will be short. So we'll just go ahead and do what we need to do. Now this is the parent graph for the square root. Okay, so the thing that you're really responsible is being able to shift the parent, if the parent is the square root of x, and shift this around. Actually, it's done as a multiple choice question, so you're not actually going to have to graph this one. Bonus is a little bit different, but I'll talk about that shortly. So here's the thing. If this is the parent graph and you have a shifted graph, so let's say we have, instead of that, we have, oops, this isn't working. I'm going to do this over here. Y equals the square root of x minus 1 plus 3, for example. Okay, now this graph, the minus 1 here means that it's going to go right 1, and the plus 3 here means it's going to go up 3. So if I wanted to take and make this particular graph, what I would do is the whole thing would lift. Okay, let me go point by point, just so you can see what happens. The whole thing would lift, so you would have right 1 and up 3. So this one actually shouldn't be there because I need to do both things to it. I need to go right 1 and up 3. 1, 2, 3. So here actually would be my new point. This one will be going right 1, up 3. This one will be going right 1, up 3. And this one will be going right 1, up 3. So that your new graph would look something like this. Okay? So your job in this is not necessarily going to be to make the graph, but to recognize the graph. So let's look at another couple just to make sure that you've got this. So here's this one's in blue that I just did. Okay, so this one is in blue. Okay, let's do another one in red. Let's do y equals square root x plus 3 minus 4. Okay, and the easiest thing to do is just to think about, if you can think about where the anchor point is, then that's the biggest thing. We'll do this one in red. So if we do this, we're going, in this case, this part takes us to the left 3, and this one takes us down because of the negative. So this would take us left 3, down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the pattern is actually the same. So for me, it's easier to just count the pattern than to count each point. Okay? But each one of them is left 3, down 4, left 3, down 4. And then the graph looks like this. The whole thing has been shifted over. Okay? And let's do one more in green. If we had the graph of y equals the square root x plus 1 plus 5. Okay, so the plus 1 would take us to the left 1. Remember, this is the one that almost seems backwards. and this one means up. So left 1, up 5. We'll come over here, and we go from our original one. Left 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left 1, up 5. And around to those different things. Each one of these points is left 1, up 5. And they all look identical. Okay? They've just been shifted all around like that. So you start with the original one, and this is the parent function for the square root. So we need to take a look at that. Now, I told you that, hanging with would be good for bonus ideas. So let's take a look at this one. This graph also, if you take the graph and then you shift it from its original points. Okay, now let's think about the ordered pairs for this one. This is a cube root parent. Okay, this would be great for bonus. This would be something where if you're asked to do this, you would need to make a graph, and I would be looking for 5 points and the curve that looks like this, and then to be shifted to the appropriate place. So just for those that are watching, you're doing extra work by watching this, so this is where your bonus would come into play. So I'm going to bring this down so I've got a little bit of place to write. All right, so let's say instead of this, I want to do y equals a cube root of x plus 1 minus 2. Okay, cube root of x plus 1 minus 2. Well, on that, I would need to go, this one will take us left 1, this one will take us down 2, so left 1, down 2. That would be your anchor point right here, left 1, down 2. When we look at the parent graph and we think about cube roots, the cube root of 1 is 1. The cube root of 8 is 2. The cube root of negative 1 is negative 1, and the cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. So that's where those original ordered pairs come from. So when they all get shifted, you're doing something to this. So it's left 1, down 2, but the pattern stays the same. Okay, so you've got a point here and a point here. Here's our pattern. Okay, this one might be easier to just do the left 1, down 2. And left 1, down 2. And then your new graph, this is hard to do on this screen, but like this, goes around like this. And I would be looking for all of those 5 important key points. Okay, I'd be looking for this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then to have a reasonably shaped curve for that for a bonus type of a thing. If now somebody had also asked about the whole thing with the if you multiplied something, so let's just take it up a level just because there's a good number of you who are wanting to possibly go in the pre-calc direction eventually. So let's just go ahead and talk about that too. What if I had a 2 out here? Then everything would be multiplied by 2 before a shift were to happen. Let's not make it a 2. Let's make this I want to make it something. All right, I'm just going to make a new one. Y equals 2 cube root x minus 4 plus 1. Okay, so for example, on this one, we know we're going to go right 4 up 1. And anything times 0 just makes, doesn't really change it at all. So you can take this original point because 2 times 0 gives you 0. So I can just move that one up and over. So right 4 up 1. Sorry, right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then up 1 would take me right here. But then this one has to get multiplied by 2 first because it's off of 0 to start with, so this would go up to 2. And then once it was up at 2, it would go right for 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1. This point at 2 would get multiplied times 2, which would be up here to 4, and then right for 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1. So what you're seeing, it's really just widening this graph path out. So this one at -1 would go to -2, and then right for 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, and so forth on the pattern. This one's at -2, so it will be at -4, and then right for up 1. So this graph would be, it's this same graph, but it's spread out like that. Okay, yes, there are some very slick programs where you could see that very quickly on a graphing calculator, which is great. Okay, I love technology and everything, but sometimes point by point it helps for you to see what's happening. So I'm just choosing to show it to you like that. So there we go. I've answered your questions. I very much appreciate you and hope that you have a great day. The test will be uploaded at some point today for you to be ready to go ahead and take that by 5 o'clock tomorrow. All right. Take care. God bless.